What's up, amigos? Today this is going to be a Negrolily combo foundational type of video. I think every Granblue player should know this in their arsenal. So I'm going to go over some different lines of play, explain the scenarios that are helpful, also show off some extension combos with Nightrose's GB2 skill, and then some other cards that are recommended to make this combo a lot more easy to do. So let's get right into it.
Check out Dueling Guard's deck boxes, playmats, and binders. They're great quality products that are anime based. They continually have more anime options becoming available. Use the affiliated link in the description for a 5% discount on your next purchase.
So I'm just going to start off the setup as you would expect it. So you G-Guard into a Negrolily, use a counterblast to retire something, revive the Beatrice. It could also be Beatrice itself that was retired for the cost but also brought back immediately. And the first play is really the Cannoneer play. So this card allows you to counterblast one and actually retire and draw something. Pretty much everybody knows this play, and this is what helps like retire annoying rearguards that may be too big or have a lot of crits on them, and potentially even just restand multiple times in certain decks. In case the retirement aspect doesn't help you, a card like Honoly would be helpful. You could put it in the back row just to keep it safe, but essentially whenever your opponent's going to do multi-attack, this is a way to like force them to do less attacks than they anticipated. The best time to do this is on the 4th battle, so that way 5th battle and more, they have to pay a counterblast with this card being on the board. This is also really good because it could be a surprising factor, especially if you discard it with a guard, for example, or it's already in the drop zone and all of a sudden you can just bring it back on your board during their battle phase. And only so many decks can actually deviate from their actual lines of play to have an effective turn. The next card would be Mick the Ghosty. This helps give your Vanguard plus 10k. So if you really just see that an additional 10k will be super helpful at that point, you can use Mick the Ghosty. And if you do it with Beatrice as the Vanguard, you can also intercept with it too, since it's a Ghosty. An interesting card that some people forget is Greed Shade. So you can revive Greed Shade, and essentially this gets you anything in hand during your opponent's turn, and you can do it defensively. So for example, the same grade 3 heal that you use to G-Guard, you can grab it again and then G-Guard a second time if you want to. However, you may want to Perfect Guard in this case. Usually you have the Negrolily route, but in case you don't have Soul, this uses a Counterblast and uses Greed Shade to milk 2 cards to get the Perfect Guard, and then you can guard from hand. You could also use 30k Sentinels and the Overtrigger. You could also set yourself up for the following turn using a copy of your Vanguard or potentially the Break Ride Night Miss, so you have a much stronger turn following up. The next one is countercharging during your opponent's battle phase, so you could actually revive the Grenache and hollow it. Then during the end phase on their turn, this will die to hollow and you'll countercharge 2 at that point. So this actually guarantees you to have 2 counterblasts at least in case they try to left you with no damage, or you had to guard everything because everything was lethal with a high crit or something. So you may not need to disrupt necessarily some cards. It might be best to countercharge during their turn. The other play is Colombard. Colombard allows you to use the extra counterblast that you may have to search anything from deck, mill it to drop zone, and then revive it. So thus that if you don't have anything that you need at the moment that's in the drop zone currently, you can fetch it from your deck. Let's say you put Beatrice here. You can get your Cannoneer, and then that will be the extra counterblast to retire. So if you need to retire something really badly, but the Cannoneer is not yet in your drop zone, this is perfect. You could also use cards like Grenache, because you need to fetch Grenache somehow. This will be a net, so you have 2 counterblasts, 1, 2, and then countercharge 2, and then you get it back. And then of course there's other cards like Honoly, Greed Shade, and Mick the Ghosty, and so on. Now with Nightrose's GP2 skill, this is where the fun begins. You can do what I call a double Cannoneer play. So essentially, assuming you have a Beatrice that was retired by Negrolily's effect and then revived back, once you use Beatrice's skill to Soul Blast and revive something, call the Cannoneer on top of it. Then use the Cannoneer's skill to counterblast, retire, and draw. Now, Nightrose's GB2 skill is on standby because it saw multiple things retired through the course of these actions. The one you want to revive is Beatrice. Using the same Cannoneer, you want to make sure Beatrice is called on top of it. This will cause Cannoneer to be retired and be able to be brought back with Beatrice, Soul Blast 1, and you can call it to another circle if you want to, or over it, it's whatever. And then again, since it's placed as a new unit, you can counterblast 1, retire something else, and draw again. This isn't as obvious, and especially if you haven't played against the Nightrose deck, but essentially you can benefit from double Cannoneer, assuming that you have the counterblast to work with. To further explain with Beatrice, really this also allows you to get anything that you want. So maybe you do want to Cannoneer, because Beatrice was retired, Nightrose will always bring Beatrice back. And now for the second time of Beatrice usage, you could bring any other card that you want to use. So you can use Mick the Ghosty to also give yourself 10k. Maybe you want to pair it out with the Honoly, and maybe you want to countercharge afterwards too as well. And then not to mention, maybe fix your hand or get other combo pieces to go from there. There's a play where you can countercharge 4. And so essentially when you do Negrolily and you have like no counterblast left, you can revive the Grenache in the back row so it doesn't get hurt. And then at the end of their turn, it'll die to hollow, countercharge 2. But then Nightrose can bring it back, re-hollow it again, and then immediately it dies again. And guess what? You countercharge 2 again as well. So you get to countercharge 4, just like that. Make sure you do this on probably the last battle or two, so that way you can make sure that you have your countercharge play. Other useful cards that kind of help with the consistency of doing the Negrolily play. The weakness is that it requires a rearguard to be on board for the cost of it. So you have cards like Impex and also Cody the Ghosty that somehow either protect rearguards to stay on the board or also just call itself in case something was retired, so that way you still have a rearguard to retire. And also to say, this is the end of the video, so thanks for watching. This is something that every Granblue player should know by heart, so that way they can have the best experience playing Granblue. If you feel you want to dive deeper into premium Granblue or need some help with preparation for BCS events too, I offer one-on-one coaching just to help you there in case you need somebody to help you out and also explain to you certain things at a big picture level, and also some practice on matchups for the metagame as well. Just happy to help out the community wherever I can. And if you want to support the channel, use the affiliate links with the singles for TCG Player, 50 card shop, and many other platforms. And also if you want to level up your accessories, check out Dueling Guards, deck boxes, playmats, and binders as well. Great quality products as well. Thank you, amigos. Until the next one. Bye.